Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's Ronan again. Finished the training, circuit training, really, and had to get myself right before I start the work day. But you already know the deal. Use the code Ronan10. That's your passport to the A-game lifestyle that promotes optimum health, helps your vitality, strength, focus, and libido, among other things. It's 21 natural herbs. Check the website so you can cross-reference with your doctor and get you on point. And this is a lifestyle. It demands commitment and dedication to it. So in this day and age, I put a hashtag, show your shame nowadays, or show your work. Excuse me. But enough of that. I wanted to talk about the spirituality aspect again. Earlier, I put a video up and said, why is it the most important investment in your life? And I want to go further than that because the first video was a ramble, but now I want to get on point with it. With spirituality, it goes into who you are. You got to say what you mean and stand on it. Even if it's an unpopular opinion, if you know you're right, and if you follow your intuition, follow your first mind, sometimes you will stand alone. There will be many times you're tested. And when we say that A game is a lifestyle, it requires a commitment, because everyone likes to talk about what they are, what they're about, what they have, but it's going to show whether it's within you or it's on you. Shout out to Sheep Stay Sleep. And I want to say much love to the Crimson Cure, who put out an excellent video about Sha'Carri, getting in a situation where she compromised her opportunity for the Olympics, and highlighted the lack of spiritual direction that led her to a decision like that. So your spirituality requires you to find some footing, because they often say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, or they often say faith without works is dead. And there's so many more parables that really highlight the necessity of spirituality. This leads to the Jonathan, who can get led astray, led to bankruptcy, an early grave, down the road of misfortune, due to being misled by the whispers of sweet nothings, being a tender dick. This will lead to individuals who will get on there and literally panhandle for panties or profits, prostituting themselves in the message they say they're about, and leading people with misinformation or misrepresentation of what they originally were. If you're spiritually rooted, the evolution will show you that you don't know everything you think you know, but you can always stand to grow. That's how I've been learning over time. See, when I caught hell going through those changes, moving from place to place, from here to Los Angeles to Houston and back here, I learned the hard way of being a senseless giver, learning the consequences of being a selfish giver, and learning the benefits and the necessity of being a sensible one. I knew I was senseless when I gave up a lot of the 10 life values in the pursuit of trying to do the impossible, is make somebody happy. I didn't understand at the time that it was a choice that they need to make. You could be happy right now and choose to be pissed off. And in this day and age, why sacrifice your time, your toil, your trouble, and ignoring the threats, all to be a senseless giver? When it comes to your spirituality, that level of conviction demands that your actions, words, intent, and consistency work in concert. If basically one or two are misaligned, you're full of it. We've seen that time and time again. We've seen these synagogues of stupidity. We've seen a lot of these fly-by-night individuals who come in, pillage the space, ransack people's faith. Basically, like, get people to pop their wallets and turn their platforms into the blade. Shout out to Sheep again. And reveal to everybody that if you're not careful, you're not spiritually rooted, you can be a prosperity prostitute. Be a pro bono hoe out here. What are you doing these things for? And furthermore, if you're saying these things to light a fire in people, are you sure you're doing that to keep your hands warm while you're out here trying to survive and roughing it? Or are you a positive pyromaniac, lighting that fire within yourself? Because naturally, when you have a torch, you can't really get mad at the elements. It's going to rain. The wind is going to blow the fire out or threaten it. All the things that challenge you to, or your commitment to keep that fire lit. Are you willing to seek shelter? Which you're looking to vet people in your circle that work together in order to build things. But if you're not spiritually rooted, you're going to be around individuals who will promote confirmation bias, confusion, and help you maintain your religious relationship to failure and mediocrity. My personal trainer, we were kind of talking about it a few days ago, at least early in the week, and I let him know I have my visions. We have respective visions and things that are coming to us, things that are we're working towards. And he noticed that I started talking to myself unapologetically. So he just mentioned in jest, like, hey, so you're talking to yourself? I said, yeah. Sometimes you'll notice in a video when I'm working out, you'll see me mouthing something, and I need to, because that's what helped get me through those rough times. When I was knee deep in shitholes, in a social level, places that I knew was unbecoming or unfitting to where I was going, or making miscalculations and missteps in life, I had to talk to myself. I had to really talk myself out of that spiritual muck and mire, which we should do. I think it's a disability when we don't speak life into ourselves. Now, there's some people who legitimately go through some mental issues, and that's that. But the thing is, I think it's even a worse mental illness when we don't speak life into ourselves. We don't address ourselves. We like to play accountability dodgeball and run from the mistakes we made or the associations that we had that betrayed us. But that lack of spiritual faith within us keeps us from bringing our dreams to fruition. Taking that step to make those needed changes, or that gamble that will lead you to wealth, that leads you to mobility, enhance your leisure, and all those great things. So why aren't we speaking to ourselves? I salute my brother, the bishop, because as a man who is spiritually rooted and grounded, although he is human, I tend to use him as a spiritual reference when I have questions or doubts within, as well as sheep, as well as the Crimson Cure. And there's a number of others. So the thing is, it is our duty to use that pillar of spirituality and revere it, take care of it, give it the needed maintenance. Because in this space and beyond, you've seen people's spirituality crumble. That's what makes you a slave to the algorithm. Not just online, but socially, spiritually, in all other areas where people have been led astray and been destroyed systematically. Some of the people that you lay with ain't meant to be played with. Some people will leave you for the slightest of things. I've learned that recently, and I've learned that over the years, but the thing is, like, you have to remain spiritually fortified and remind yourself, just as you met people, you're going to meet plenty more. Sometimes some people are taken out of your way in order to promote that spiritual growth. With those scars, you're going to heal, but those are reminders. Those are bookmarks or footnotes that, you know what, especially like this one right here, there's certain things I don't do the same anymore. And what we're supposed to do in this space as content creators, we need to talk to others to avoid certain situations that we've done. Lead by example that way. But more importantly, we need to talk to ourselves and remind ourselves we need to remain committed to the mission. We need to get back on point and stop repeating certain mistakes. And if we do, look for the way out. We got to look within and look to the Most High, or who you uphold as your spiritual rooting. This is where you establish balance, because when you look at all the tenets of the 10 life values, if you're not spiritually rooted, everything is fragile. All is permitted, and that puts you in the line of fire. To be spiritually rooted is a measure of safety, security. It safeguards you, keeps you steady. I say in the A Game family, I noticed that even though I go through my trials, I handle things a lot differently. I go through my periods of anger fits. I deal with the inconsistent ring of the ears due to tinnitus. Having came out of 3 surgeries and having a slightly misaligned right collarbone, dealing with all the issues I dealt with over time, and even with an ankle that's bothering me, my right ankle, I'm still in that gym, committed to the process, strengthening myself in spite of. A lot of times I have to grit my teeth and bear the pain. And in many aspects, that's what we got to do. Because if you're going to grow, you got to let some things go. Some people you shared your bed with, your time with, your heart with. A lot of times you got to shed those tears to express and grieve properly, to let that stress out of your body. Because I came this close to an aneurysm holding that stuff in. I at times I do revert back to storing those things within, and that is cancerous. It is slow poison that bleeds into every aspect of you, and it can literally destroy you. Spirituality, when you lose that, we lose brothers like Force Windu. We lose people close to us, because without faith within themselves, they give up hope. They don't see no point in living. They don't see no point of going forward. And again, I'll say it again, sometimes that's all you have. It doesn't make you crazy to talk to yourself. Sometimes you got to talk yourself out of going into that drawer and grabbing that pistol or that knife or whatever implement of destruction that's made available and making the most final decisions that you can never come back from. I am in the process of talking to my gift, or getting back into my gift, which is art. I haven't drawn seriously in 8.5 years. And it's a spirituality issue because I gave everything unnecessary to an individual who didn't appreciate my time. My toil was definitely not worth the trouble, and promoted numerous threats to the point where I woke up one night and I stood over her with a screwdriver. I was driven to that point, and it literally scared the shit out of me to where I had to get out of that house and drive around to find myself, because I was spiritually lost at sea. I'm sharing these things because there's a lot of us in real time who are still trying to find ourselves and get back to find our footing. That spirituality is your compass. It'll help you find the landmarks to your legacy. It'll help you find those needed waypoints to get back on the road to success. And even though sometimes your body will hurt, your feelings will get hurt, you'll be let down, you'll be fatigued, I say it's the most important investment because you are well worth that legacy. It is going to be a fight. Peace of mind, fulfillment, and success are never easy. They ain't free. They're going to cost you. And seeing those things where how you're treated out here, whether you're civilian or a veteran, we're all soldiers. And this is one big ass battlefield. But the most important ground you need to fight for and win is between here and here. If you lose that, those are losses that very few can ever recover from. But many have learned, and a lot of times I have to remind myself, as well as you do, we're resilient sons of bitches for a reason. See, we are misappropriating our time and our focus on our disgruntled fan base. You're always going to have people who don't like you. You're always going to have people who have scathing remarks to say, or don't even have the courage to stand on what they say. Now, some will be gutsy and get in your face. My whole thing is, you're welcome to do it. And I'm going to give you everything you've been asking for. However, this isn't keyboard courage. It's about spiritual survival. You can defend who you love. That's an expression of spirituality. But you got to fight even harder for yourself. Sometimes you can be addicted to being a patient. When really, when it comes to your spirituality, when you're rooted in that, you start becoming patient with the process. You start becoming dismissive of instant gratification. Other than business transaction, some things are delayed because you have to mentally prepare yourself for what's coming in order to appreciate it, to protect it, and understand the lessons that came with it. That's the many things that the A-Game family is teaching you all in real time. It is your time. It's a hustler's market, in my opinion. And while you got a bunch of nihilists talking about game over, this, and they're finding confirmation bias with bullshit statistics and all that stuff, I tell people, you are the statistic that wasn't supposed to happen, but thank God you did. We will defy odds because we are the curse breakers. And anybody sitting there throwing curses at you and say, well, I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and see how this works out. Cool. While I'm kicking adversity in the nuts, you can cheer from the sidelines. I just hope you got season tickets, because I'm going to make a lot of people mad, just as you should. But never be afraid. Never stay afraid of what you're meant to be. I'm going to be unapologetically me. I'm going to embarrass some people. Say I got dry humor, and I looked that up and I saw what it was. I saw appreciation for it. I was going to tell how it is. When you're spiritually hungry, you learn not to settle for less. We're not talking about on a superficial level. You start pushing for greater expectations of yourself. You got to get used to surprising yourself, but never get satisfied with the summit of yourself. That's why spirituality is number one. It's a lifelong journey. It's a work. It's well worth it. But when you're standing on top of that mountain, you look like there's another one. You take your rest. You gird your loins. You start getting ready to make that climb. Because what are you willing to leave behind? All of us lead by example, and respectively, we're all artists in our respective canvases. Some are great orators. Some are great with their hands. You don't have to be a bullshit artist all your life, especially when you look in the mirror. So in closing, I always say never allow your comfort zone to become your coffin. Because when it comes to the pursuit of success, that kind of resting on your laurels is pretty much worse than a cyanide pill. Because it's slow, it makes you lazy, it makes you complacent. It makes you soft, it makes you a target. Be sure to take on the slings and arrows. When you are pushing yourself and staying in rhythm to what you're called to do, you'll learn how to dance in the field when they're shooting them slings and arrows. Because, yeah, a few will hit you. But, like in martial arts, it looks like a dance. That's why I always love kung fu movies. It's that technique that'll tear the shit out of people who are sitting there throwing those fists and weapons against you. You know how to take those things down. Especially the greatest opposition you'll ever face is yourself. Don't be afraid to talk to yourself. Be willing to talk yourself out of those fits of depression, which is what I do. It definitely helps. There's no victory in being a victim, but you can leave many victims in the pursuit of victory. With that, salute you guys. Let's get out here and make this thing work. I'm about to go to work and handle my business. But when it comes to adversity, it's your duty to make it your bitch. With that, peace.